A blessed Friday to each one of you. And as often as we're together, it's an absolute honor to just share these few minutes with you every day. From the book of Philippians, chapter 3, verse 13. The one thing I do is to forget what is behind me and do my best to reach what lies ahead. Forgetting what's behind me and doing my best to reach for what's ahead. I'm not sure I could ever live up to that because I don't, like most of us, I don't forget what is behind me. But there are times when what's behind me can paralyze me and prevent me from looking forward. And especially now, with all the stuff we're going through, it's easy to let what we're going through to kind of paralyze us, and maybe we just kind of get so much into ourselves we don't look ahead. But I do believe that in the middle of all we're going through, that it's important to dream, to hope, to move forward. One of you sent me this little thing about grief, and we've talked about grief several times. And there's a lot of dimensions to grief. Sometimes we grieve the loss of a loved one, especially during these last 5 or 6 or 7 months. But also we can grieve what we've lost, because there's a lot of things that we did but we can't do right now. But this is what somebody sent me, and they're powerful words. Grief is a walk alone. Others can be there and listen, but you will walk alone down your own path, at your own pace, with your sheared off pain, your own raw wounds, your denial, your anger, your bitter loss. And eventually you will come to your own peace, hopefully, but it will be on your own and in your own time. Each one of us has a journey. Each one of us, we bear our own sense of grief, and we get through that in our own time. Nobody can do it for us. Nobody walks in our shoes. But with the power of prayer and that higher power that lives in the soul of each one of us, we get through our grief at our own pace, in our own time. Now, yesterday we had I reached out to our youth group, and we haven't been together as a youth group for several months. And we sent the word out that we'd like you to come to the church if you can, if you feel comfortable, at 5:30 on Thursday, which was yesterday. And we're going to set up some tables, and we have 11 or 12 people that in our church that are just going through a really tough time. And I asked our kids that if you have the time and you feel comfortable, come to the church. We'll sit safe distance from each other, and we're going to write letters to the people that are going through a tough time. And yesterday, 14 of our youth showed up. And they came in at 5:30, and we fed them some pizza, which is always a good way to get them here. And they were here until 7 o'clock, and they were writing letters to some of you that are going through a tough time. And I just saw the look in the kids' eyes, and I saw them writing their letters. I read some of the letters, and I was just touched by, and one of the kids said, "Hey, this is a lot of fun." And I said, "You mean this is fun?" And he said, "Just being with my friends, just being inside my church." And I thought to myself that maybe one of the best ways to handle the grief that we're going through is to reach out to somebody else. Because when we reach out to somebody else, our grief doesn't go away, but we have a renewed sense of purpose, making a difference in the life of somebody else. And what was really nice last night was that most of these kids, when their parents came to pick them up, or their grandparents, they came to church. And so last night for Thursday night worship, we had all these young people here too, and it was just a moment of hope and promise and joy. And I realized that it's fun to take your time and your energy and your spirit and funnel that energy and spirit onto somebody else. And so each one of us, I mean, I've had moments of deep loss. I've had moments of grief. I've had moments when I want to kind of back off and just hide under the covers. And sometimes the best medicine is to take our grief and take that sense of loss and reach out to somebody else and make a difference in that person's life. I realize that even with the news today that the president and the first lady are tested positive for the coronavirus, that the virus knows no bounds, and that every person that has been infected by the virus, every person that has lost his or her life, every one of you who has lost a loved one, each one of those lives are so precious. I think of those words, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. In God's kingdom, there are no positions of honor. Nobody's more important than anybody else. Each one of us has a place and a purpose. And when we can reach out to somebody else and make a difference, that's where God's kingdom comes alive. I'd like to close with a little prayer. It's kind of inspired by Father James Kavanaugh. And in the midst of all the stuff we're going through, maybe it's take time to pray for those things that we can be grateful for. So let us pray. Lord, today I'm grateful for the sight of a single star, for all those memories I have salvaged from afar. I'm grateful for this moment of silent peace, grateful for beyond what a human voice can tell. I am grateful for the wonder of human love, grateful for your strange guidance from above. Yes, today for this moment, I'm grateful for my life, grateful for rebirth, grateful forever to live these moments upon this earth. Yes, in the midst of our grief and our loss, there's so much to be grateful for. I personally am grateful for each one of you, grateful for the spirit of our church, grateful for those kids who were here last night Grateful for a humble carpenter who graces our journey with just a message of hope and peace. So to each one of you, I hope you can be grateful for something today. And I'll be grateful because I know tomorrow at noon we'll be together again. God bless you, and thanks for listening. Thank you, Doug.